Hey guys, what's going on? It's Carlos here from PremierReviewer, and I finally got my hands on the Tamron 28-75 f2.8 lens. Now, if you followed my unboxing of my A7 Mark III, you know how excited I was, and I was kind of conflict between two lenses, and I ended up going with obviously the Tamron. The other one was the Sony 24-105. And that one's backdoored as well, but I figured with the 2.8 it was going to make a much bigger difference, so I wanted to go with that. So what I've got for you guys today is a before and after of how the firmware update is working. Just to let you know, it's working great now, but here's a little comparison of when I first got it to some tests that I ran, where you guys can see the difference between before and after the firmware update. It's very simple. I will leave a link down below to where you can get the firmware if you have this lens and you're looking to make it much more usable. Yes, just to let you know, I'm actually using it right now, and as you see, the lens is working just fine. So let's get into this sample footage. Alright, so now what we have is me actually doing an autofocus test. This is when I first got the lens and I was trying to test it out to see how well it was going to be. As you see, it really does not even have me in focus. Now the crazy thing is it does give you I mean, my copy wasn't that bad where it didn't get me in focus at all. The problem is it doesn't hold focus very well. So as I'm walking back and forth, you can see at this point, it's not even keeping me in focus at all. It's almost like if it's on manual, which it's not. It's on continuous autofocus. And as you see, it kind of had me in focus for a second, then it lost me. And this is how it comes when you first get the lens and you don't have the firmware update. Now, the great thing is they did give us a firmware update. It felt like it took a long time, but it finally did happen. As you see at this moment, it seems to have me and then it loses me. This is what we seen on a regular basis. So it was frustrating for anyone who had the lens before the firmware. I can see how it would be unusable in the autofocus mode. I mean, you would have to just manually focus, but as you see, it would catch you for a second and then completely lose my face. So I did this test several times. Now let's move into what it looks like when I actually had myself in focus. Now I finally did the update. It's been out for a few weeks. I only had the actual lens for, I would say, about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now. So let's see what it looks like now. So let's take a look at what it's like after the firmware update. Now I changed up the environment just because I wanted something a little bit more busier, just to give me a little bit more of a better comparison and see how this would work in a real world situation. As you see, so far it's holding me in focus. Now I had this focus set at f2.8, wide open at 28 millimeters, and one of the great things about this lens is, I mean, it is almost like having a macro lens on it. It's amazing. So I just did this back and forth thing. Many people's done this test, no different, but I went out of frame so that I can come back in to show you how well it does. It kind of hunts for a little bit and then it gets me right there, but it's smooth. I have the settings on wide, continuous autofocus, and it does a really good job with that. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing to it. The firmware has definitely fixed this. Again, links to it will be down in the description if you want to check it out. Make sure you do this. I didn't have a super bad copy, but at the end of the day, it's about getting the most out of your lens. Thank you, Tamron, for sending out this firmware, and I'm glad it was only a firmware fix that needed to be done instead of something like the hardware. Guys, thank you for tuning in. If this helped you in any way, make sure you leave a like down below, and I'll see you around. You guys need to chill.